Hey, my name is Alvin Brook, and I'm the head of marketing at Buzzsprout, and you're watching video 1 of our How to Start a Podcast YouTube series. So over the next several videos, we're going to take you step by step through the entire process to launch your first podcast. And we're going to go pretty in depth here. We want to make sure that you have all of the best practices so that you can start your podcast on the right foot. So more people are listening to podcasts than ever before. According to Edison Research, the number of Americans who are listening to a podcast every week has grown over 100% in just the last 4 years. And 67 million Americans listen to a podcast every month. And as the audience for podcasts continue to grow, there's never been a better time to start a podcast, whether it be for a hobby, a business, nonprofit, or even a church. So if you follow the advice in this video series, you'll be primed to launch your own podcast and take advantage of what we think is a really exciting new medium. Podcasts are a great way to build a genuine connection with your audience. Instead of a fractured connection you might get through social media and sending out a tweet storm, podcasts allow you to engage with your audience in a unique, long-form content. There's podcasts I've listened to for years now, and though I've never met the people who actually put those podcasts out, you start to feel like you know the person who does the podcast. So that's a special connection that you may not get through text or even YouTube. Sometimes it feels like you're there in the room with the person who's doing the podcast. Every time you publish an episode, every one of your subscribers will get that episode in their podcast app automatically. There's not a special bell to ding or a secret algorithm to figure out. So as long as you're putting out great content, you'll slowly over time be building an audience of passionate fans. So why should you even listen to Buzzsprout at all? Well, Buzzsprout's been around for 10 years, and we've helped launch over 100,000 podcasts. We have a guide that we wrote on how to make a podcast, and that's been read over 500,000 times. We've also gone to dozens of podcasting conferences and spoken to thousands of podcasters. So we're trying to bring all of that we've learned over those years together into this course. We hear all the time people are saying, am I a little late? We know that you're not too late because every few years another breakout show comes out. 2014 we had Serial, then The Daily launched in 2017. 2019 we've already had a bunch of new shows like The Dropout, 1619, Ron Burgundy podcast. All of those have launched just this year. I think back to all the times we've gone to a conference, it's pretty common that someone's saying, I'm just about to launch. I'm just about to launch a podcast. We're like, great, that's awesome. And then the next year they say, I didn't launch yet, but I'm about to launch. I'm just polishing the last few episodes. And there's people that I've met multiple times over a couple years and they haven't launched. So I don't want you to be intimidated by the number of podcasts. I want you to think, I'm getting in now and I'm getting in early. Our research shows for every podcast there's 570 blogs and 65 YouTube channels. So just think about the opportunity there was to start a blog in like 2004. Yeah, there was a ton of written content all over like AOL.com or whatever it was back then. But there were also a lot of people coming online. And so as there were more people writing, there were more people reading. And that's what we're getting in podcasting. If you think only a quarter of Americans regularly listen to a podcast, imagine what 3/4 of Americans are doing right now. The head of Google Podcasts has said Google's goal is to double the amount of people that are listening to podcasts worldwide. So think about the opportunity that's there for you if a company like Google is putting their name behind this kind of audacious goal. So I hope I've convinced you of the incredible opportunity there is in podcasting. So now let's dive into how to start a podcast. Think about why you want to start a podcast. And the reason this is an important question is because it's going to inform a lot of what you do later. Another way to phrase this maybe is, what I want you to think about at least is, what's your goal? What's the purpose for your podcast? Here are the 4 most common goals that we hear from people. To generate leads for a business, for maybe your business, to become a recognized leader in an industry, to share an important message, or frankly, just to have fun. Now, as you think about those four, I want you to also think about two reasons that are red flags. These are not good. If you want to become famous or you want to get rich, the chances that happen are so low. I would say those are not good reasons to start a podcast. While most shows can build a strong, passionate audience, it's only the lucky few that ever have a chance to turn their hosts into a star. So you're probably not going to become Joe Rogan. So it's good right now to go ahead and write down your answer. Why are you starting this podcast? And we'll refer back to it as we further develop your podcast concept. So now that we've got your purpose, what's your podcast about? And it can be as broad as pop culture or as focused as discussions about a recent Supreme Court ruling. The only requirement is that the topic has to be something you're passionate about, something you're excited to research and discuss on a regular basis. Once you have an idea of what the podcast is about, it's a good idea to do some market research. So search through Apple Podcasts and see if someone else is already doing it. If there is something, don't freak out. Just listen to a couple of their episodes to see what they're doing well and think of ways you can improve on it or maybe give that topic a different spin. When you're picking a podcast name, you'll want to pick something that's catchy, that's memorable. It will rank for keywords that are relevant to your podcast. Think about what people are searching that you would want your podcast to show up in front of them. So they're going to search something in Apple Podcasts, and then you want yours to show up. So I think of a show called Bigger Pockets. It's a real estate podcast. Well, they've got real estate in the name because they know we want people to search real estate and find us. Or there's a show called Syntax Web Development Treats or Tasty Web Development Treats. Well, they know people are searching web development, so they want that in there. I want to give you Apple's advice. Apple says, pay close attention to the title, the author, and the description because Apple Podcasts uses these fields for search. This is a direct quote. Make your title specific. A podcast called Our Community Bulletin is too vague to attract subscribers, no matter how compelling the content. Now, one thing that people often get sucked into doing, and this is not a good idea, is stuffing. It's like the Albin podcast, best tips, how to start a podcast, entrepreneur, online marketing, and they stick all the stuff together and they submit it to Apple and it gets kicked right out. Because Apple doesn't want you stuffing all these keywords in there. They want you to put in exactly what your podcast is about. So Apple specifically says, focus on your title, focus on the description, focus on the author tag. All those are used for search. So make sure those are all completely filled out and have a lot of good info there. Sometimes people here start thinking, oh, let's jump in and start doing some artwork. Well, we're not going to do artwork now. The reason we're not going to get into the artwork piece is because artwork is so much harder to change than text. And as we're recording episodes, it's going to be pretty easy for you to update your concept over time as you start to think, oh, maybe the title's changing or what we're focusing on is maybe shifted. So it's easy to update that text. It's hard if you've just asked someone to put together some custom artwork for you. So we'll hold off till later and then we'll come back to this. All right, so that's everything we have for developing your podcast concept. We talked about the incredible opportunities in podcasting, and I really hope I convinced you of how podcasting is a little different and there's a lot of opportunity still there. Then the main things, we had three main things. We talked about why you are starting a podcast, what that podcast is about, and we picked a name. And I want you to write the answers to those questions down because those are going to feed into everything else we do in all the videos coming up. Because next video, we're going to talk about format. So format, we're going to talk about what type of podcast. We'll go through different types of shows there are. What type should you make? And then we'll talk about the optimal length for a podcast episode. Tip, there isn't one. And then we're going to talk at the end about how often you should publish, like every day, once a week. So we'll get into all the formatting stuff in the next video. We're really excited you're on this journey with us. One thing that really is exciting for us is knowing As we're filming this, thousands of the people who watch it are going to launch successful shows. So we're really excited to be a part of that, and we'll see you in the next video.